And good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We have some breaking news. A crash to report up at the Reno Air Races. Instead, a plane, an unlimited plane, has apparently crashed into the grandstands there, is what we're told. And this is raw video that has come into our newsroom at the scene. So you're seeing this for the first time as we are right now.
Yeah, there. I'm joined now by Staff Sergeant Isaac Reed. Isaac, you were actually in the stands. Tell me exactly what you saw. You know, you're covered in blood. You were actually helping out in the response.
Yeah. Right as he came around the final pylon, one of the racers appeared to lose control, pitched up violently, and then turned inverted and came down right in front of the stands, directly in kind of the box seat area. Just kind of smashed into the area.
So, sir, you fly with Voodoo. You guys were in the unlimited gold Galloping Ghost. Is that correct?
Yes, that was Jimmy Leeward's plane.
Did you see Jimmy? Did you see how he was doing?
He was racing good, but it looked like he lost the surface control because he came in, his tail dropped, he yawed, and he flipped over and went upside down, and he didn't have no control over the plane. There was nothing he could do.
Thank you, sir. I just got off the phone with Mike Draper of R&R Partners. They're handling everything here. Draper called this situation a mass casualty. He said from the scene they can assume there are deaths, but at this point they're not going into the status of that pilot.
I really haven't seen this type of medical personnel. We saw 5 ambulances on their way out with police escort coming down 395. So if you're in the area, stay home. You don't need to be out here. Don't come out here because the traffic right now out here is absolutely horrendous. There are 2 choppers still sitting on the tarmac right now. I would assume waiting for victims, people who have been injured, to be sent to local hospitals. But right now, walking in, people just kind of in a daze. You know, that sort of this sort of tragedy, this sort of incident. You know, you're never really prepared for something like this. What I've been told about this aircraft, what happened, it is a Mustang in this unlimited division, swooped around on the final turn here above the stands and basically did a flip, did a loop, and landed right in front in those front rows. And of course, that's where a lot of people are sitting, enjoying a Friday afternoon, watching this, watching an air race, and certainly tragedy right now. I don't want to speculate on numbers right now, but just the amount of medical personnel, fire units, police officers, sheriff's department responding. This is something that's unprecedented. Shelby.
And we're just told now by our producer that we apparently have some video from YouTube of the crash, so we are getting our first look at this as you are. We'll just let you watch and see as this P-51, I think I just saw it go down. There you go, and a cloud of smoke there. As we heard Jeff Martinez say, pretty much plowed straight into the ground, and that definitely looks like what happened right there in front of the grandstands, it appears.
It was so sad over there. You saw people being wheeled in. Here's some of the video we're looking at. This man, for example, looked like he was missing a leg. There were other ones that just had tarps over that were so badly injured they didn't want anyone to see. They wanted to protect them. And it was just crazy. You can see ambulances after ambulance.
So
Lots of head injuries.
We just heard from the producer in my ear here that apparently 80 to 100 patients have been brought into Renown. And of course, that's in addition to the patients that were taken to St. Mary's as well. So this is a huge incident, and you know, our thoughts and our prayers are going out to those people right now who have been injured in this.
That's right. And again, we haven't heard any reports of confirmed fatalities, so we can just, you know, hope and pray at this point that everybody did somehow survive this awful crash this afternoon.
Hi, Shelby. So right now, we just got done speaking with Kate Gray. She's the Director of Marketing here at St. Mary's. She did tell me that at this point, they have implemented the HIC system. What that is, the Hospital Emergency Incident Command System. Currently, there are 11 ambulances that have dropped off patients, all of which have come out either on a wheelchair or a stretcher.
Yeah, Joe and Shelby, we can tell you that the scene is still incredibly active. Word from the crash site, there are still body parts out there. That was the exact words from a deputy on scene. It's very gruesome. You talk about the number that the AP is giving, 75 people. From my perspective here, that's a conservative estimate. The triage center is still very active. One of the nurses that promised an update on numbers just walked past me. I said, how many people are you treating? Her words, too many. It's very ugly. I did see a couple kids just being cradled by their dads here, incredibly emotional, and actually a third care flight helicopter just took someone or something from this crash scene. So we're still seeing that emergency response. The nurses and doctors on scene are very busy trying to understand. We don't have any more information on what might have caused this crash.
Yeah, Shelby, I just spoke with a pilot out here, an experienced pilot. He flies a Citation 10. If you don't know what that is, it's a public aircraft, but it's a swept-wing aircraft. He's a captain of that aircraft, and very experienced pilot, and he saw the whole thing, and he told me, he goes, this guy was either clipped or he had a windbreak on him. So definitely more details of eyewitness details about what has happened here, and we're just getting more and more as it slowly starts to trickle in. But as Mackenzie said, this whole place has been shut down. This whole place is on lockdown, and we're doing our best to bring you information as we can, but at the same time be respectful to not only the people that are trying to do their jobs out here, but just the victims' families, and you really have to be respectful of this sort of situation.
Okay, again, the pilot, Jimmy Leeward, Florida, we have his Facebook page that we're going to call up now, and apparently people have been going on and making comments on his Facebook page. He was a veteran pilot, as most of these pilots are out there at the air races. These are the best of the best, and you can see some of the comments. Very sad. Rest in peace, Jimmy. And again, we have not heard any confirmation about the pilot's status, but people fearing the worst or assuming the worst perhaps after seeing what's left after this crash. Okay, this is some interesting information we need to pass along. We're now being told, and this is being passed along to us, that at Renown they have 20 patients there. And we're going to go now live to a news conference with Mike Houghton, the director of the air races.
And the family. I've spent quite a bit of time with the family. They're obviously devastated. He was a close friend of all of ours. We're going to have a memorial service in their pit at 1 o'clock tomorrow, so wishes of the family. I'll take questions at this point.
What else can you tell us about the pilot, sir?
The pilot was a good friend. He's been here for a long, long time. He's worked very hard to compete this year. All I've heard are rumors, like all the rest of you have, as to what caused the problem. Jimmy's a real estate developer out of Florida, out of Ocala, Florida. Most of his family was here.
Okay, as you heard in the news conference just now, the air races have been canceled for the rest of the weekend. This has turned into a mass casualty incident. Mike Houghton, the president and CEO of the Reno Air Races, is saying he cannot confirm how many casualties there may have been. However, I have spoken to a witness to the crash who said that he was in one of the tents and saw the plane go up, saw it come down. He said we were running for our lives trying to get out of the way, and at one point he simply froze looking up at the plane as it came down. He said it came down in the box seats, as we know now, and that the debris from the box seats rose, he said, 300 feet in the air. He said we were in shock. We didn't know what to do. At some point after the crash, they ran over, and he said all I could see was body parts everywhere. He, at this point, kind of broke down. He said, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know how to deal with this. He said his phone had been ringing, that he had been getting calls from family and friends wondering if he was all right, knowing that he was in the vicinity. But as we heard from Mr. Houghton now, we know that he cannot confirm the number of casualties, only to confirm that there are casualties, and also that among those casualties is the pilot of the plane.
And if you're watching and you are concerned about a loved one who might have been out at today's event, we have a phone number for you to call. It's right there on your screen, 775-972-6663, 972-6663. And hopefully you can get some information about whoever it is that you're concerned about. You know, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone out there.
You know, I just came from the pits, Joe and Shelby, where I talked to one Unlimited Gold pilot who was flying side by side with Jimmy Leeward. He talked about the pictures. If we could, let's go ahead and pull up a picture of that plane. He said from that picture, this is just a guess. It's a pilot's estimate that races in this exact race that Leeward was racing in. Says if you look to the back, there's a thing called a trim tab. So when this trim tab is broken, this is what steers the plane from right to left. And when this breaks, like it did in this case, it pitches that tail up and it sends the plane down into the ground fast. It was violent. That's what happened today. That's how the crash went down. down. Again, this is just a pilot's estimate.
As a reporter, you try and prepare yourself for walking into a scene like that, and I was talking with somebody with the set team and looked over his shoulder and saw, honestly, something I never wanted to see in my life, when you're seeing literally body parts laying out there on the tarmac amongst these chairs and where people were reveling and having a good time on a Friday afternoon, so definitely stunning scene to say the least. But you really have to applaud the efforts of first responders today. These men and women went in and did their jobs after this tragedy happened. The thing that really amazed me was the fact that this plane absolutely disintegrated. There is nothing left of it. There are a couple of major parts that are literally stuck into the tarmac. That's how hard this plane hit. But there's nothing left of it. It's something I've never seen before in my life. I've never been able to see that ever as a reporter. And you get to see some incredible things sometimes.
We've been just receiving a number of calls from people who are really wanting to help right now, and they're wondering what they can do, who they can call. And one of the places we have talked to was United Blood Services. I know you mentioned that earlier. They are taking appointments. They will be open tomorrow.
It's been very busy here at St. Mary's. I have just been confirmed, though, from Josh Charleboy, who is with the St. Mary's public relations staff. He has confirmed there are 25 patients here being treated at St. Mary's.
We have another update from Renown that we just received here. It says Renown Regional Medical Center has received a total of 22 patients. 9 are critical. 11 people are in fair conditions, and also, sadly, again, as we reported earlier, 2 deceased there, and including the pilot, that is 3 confirmed dead. All right, we've got some new video that's coming in we're going to slow down a little bit. Of course, this was just moments after the crash there. This is probably from someone who was just in the stands watching and who, opened their camera up and took that video. You can see just a big cloud of smoke and debris, and
a lot of debris.
Things just kind of scattered around there. Okay, we've got a witness to today's event. Ryan is on the phone. Ryan, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Can you just tell us, what you saw out there today?
Well, the race was going fine. There was no aircraft contact when the crash happened. I just saw Galloping Ghost climb, roll over as the video shows, and crash into the ground. And my belief is that there was no sort of hit. There was probably a structural failure. It had nothing to do with the pilot, I don't think. It's one of those things where you go to the air races knowing this may happen. It's just an inherent risk in any sort of racing. I mean, there's NASCAR, Indy racing, they all have their own issues that include parts flying through the air and spectators being hit or killed. And it's sad that it happens, but it's just something you deal with.
Okay, Ryan, we want to thank you for your observations. We're going to go join the news conference with the governor and Mike Houghton getting underway out in Stead.
I'm sorry it's taking so long to get back out to you a little late. As you can tell, we've had a lot of people that we've gotten together and began discussing other elements of this tragedy so we can move forward.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families. This has been a horrific accident. We also have to let Nevadans know and let the nation know about the quality of the emergency personnel that have been involved today. It was a flawless reaction to what happened. The fire personnel, the air race personnel, the law enforcement, everybody from a county and a local level came together and did everything they needed to do.
Well, as you just heard, Mike Houghton had the very latest information. He counts 54 people injured, all of them transported to the hospital. He said that the pilot's wife had the same question that we did, whether his remains have been recovered from the scene. We're not sure of that at this point, but we do know that the situation obviously is under control out there. Not sure of the number of deceased, he said. I think we have counted the number to 3. But that number, of course, may change as this tragedy continues to unfold in hospitals across our area. We know now that the pilot was 74 years old, that he had passed all of his medical tests, which are pretty stringent. A flight surgeon, a flight doctor takes those over and tests eyesight, blood pressure, things like that. And he was up to date on all of that. What they are speculating at this point was a catastrophic failure on his plane. And of course, that is where the NTSB comes in. 3 people were here from that federal agency when this happened. 4th is on his way from, or her way from, Washington, D.C. now. And the investigation will obviously continue. Planes are grounded here for the foreseeable future while that investigation goes on.
Well, thank you for staying with us tonight throughout our coverage. It is definitely one of those days I don't think any of us will ever forget. We'll have much more for you coming up tonight on News 4 at 11.
Right now, we're going to join the ALMA Awards now in progress.